Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the e-commerce lab by Ecomcy, the place related everything around Amazon, FBA, and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we'll bring you a friend of mine, Anton, who is the co-founder of SpaceGoats, which is an amazing solution when helping you expand to Amazon Europe. And that's actually what we're going to be touching today. What are the complications around expanding to Amazon Europe, things to consider, strategy, everything that you need to know to make this whole jump from basically Amazon Europe and all the countries that you can find in there, because we know it can be sometimes overwhelming, it can get complicated. And Anton here with Space God is going to make your life much more easier, right? So, Anton, thank you for being here. How you doing, my friend?
Thanks for having me, and thank you much for this beautiful introduction. So much energy directly from the beginning on. I love it, and I'm looking forward to the next minutes, hours. I don't know. We will see.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I try to keep it as active as possible, especially for a listener that they're maybe at work right now. They need that kind of motivation to keep going and trying new
Yeah.
things, like for example, trying Amazon Europe, and that's why I bring people like you, because I know you guys have extensive knowledge around the subject and can provide a lot of knowledge around what are the things people should consider and which mistakes to avoid, right?
Hopefully.
Yes, 100%. So before we jump into that, however, I usually like to use the initial minutes, as I always do with all my guests, just to, learn about the journey of the people as a guest on my podcast.
Mhm.
I think it's super important to understand a little bit of where you guys were before jumping to the commerce, and specifically you, what actually motivated you to do Space Ghost. So give us a little bit of that introduction, please. Yeah.
I would love to. Thank you very much. So, also welcome from my side. My name is Anton Hermann. I'm one of the co-founder of SpaceGoats, but this is like my final stage of this big journey I had in the past. So, I was born in the Soviet Union. I come to Europe, or to Germany. So we are based in Germany with 4 years. So basically, I'm a German living here in Germany, and I was always good in math and physics, so I started studying automotive engineering. Moved to
Mm-hmm.
Stuttgart. You might know Stuttgart for the beautiful cars and the beautiful
Yeah.
mechanical engineering situation here. So Porsche is here, Bosch is here, Mercedes
The
Benz
big
is here.
ones.
The big ones are here, and that was also my dream to build like nice cars. And I
Mm-hmm.
studied this in my bachelor's degree. I finished my bachelor's degree, but then I experienced, meanwhile, that's not the industry I want to be in, because it's super old-fashioned and super strict, a lot of politics involved. So I
Mm-hmm.
moved my master's to mechanical engineering. It's super similar. I mean, math is math and physics is physics and engineering is
Yeah.
engineering. So I moved to production engineering, construction
Okay.
techniques, and product development. I liked it a lot. Seriously, I liked this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
In during my studies, I was working at Bosch, and
Okay.
there. And now let's come to the interesting part. I liked my job, but the guy left of me. He was like 60 something years old, and he did exactly the same job which I did. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do the next
I
40
know.
years. So maybe you might know the story as well. But still, I finished my studies, and during that one, I was looking for opportunities to open up my own company, do my own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. And actually, the first try was right before that one, still in my bachelor's degree. I started selling T-shirts from Thailand
Okay.
on eBay. It worked out like nothing. It was like catastrophical. For an engineer, the product must be nice, and it's
I
selling
know.
for
I know.
it's selling alone. You don't need to do anything. But that's of course not the case. So I discovered this Amazon FBA opportunity. It was like
Mm-hmm.
2015 in the end, in the beginning of 2016, something like that. After my um, the semester abroad in Taiwan. So I had 6 months of discovering the world and chilling and having
Wow.
fun. And after that, I said like, okay, now it's time to work. Now it's time to do stuff. And this business model sounded pretty exciting to me and logical, so
Yeah.
reasonable. And that's why I just ordered a couple of bamboo toothbrushes. It was in 2016 from China. It was like Wild West on Amazon these days. You know, you could just
Mhm.
buy reviews and whatever. And
Yeah.
I launched them in the end of 2016, and it was working so good that I couldn't even believe it myself. So this 2000 bamboo toothbrush packages, they were like gone after 2 months. I was of course out of stock, like most of have been. And I told that to my co-founding friends. Right now it's SpaceGoats, and they were like, "Oh, that sounds cool. I want to do it
Yeah.
as well." And so they opened up their company. They made their own experience, and a couple of months later, we already decided, okay, guys, we have so good competences here. We have this product development guy, which can do construction and all that stuff. We have one finance guy, and we have one software developer guy. Let's raise some money from friends and fools or friends and family, and started on a bigger scale. And that's what we did in the upcoming year. So in 2017, basically, we built up in this short time 5 brands, and
Wow.
it was working obviously better than before because we had knowledge and a bit more money. So
Yeah.
that was cool. But at that point, we knew already that's not sustainable to just sell products on Amazon, and I still believe the same. I still believe it to just stay there. So we had like 2 options to build a big project, a big thing here, and one thing was to build up a big brand, like with
Yeah.
everything related to it,
Yeah.
marketing campaigns and offline and whatever, or we built a tool. We were just honest to
Yeah.
ourselves. We have an engineer, a finance guy, and a
Mm.
techie. So
Yeah.
there were
A tool is
not
better.
there were not many not many marketing skills involved. So we said like, but we have an engineer, a software engineer, and let's go for a tool. And we were thinking about what can we do, and we just knew that we are good in selling stuff on Amazon. Why not selling stuff on Amazon for other companies which do not have the skills? And so the idea was born for SpaceGoats. And that's what we actually do. We sell other companies' products through our Amazon account all over Europe plus UK, since a couple of weeks also in the USA, and providing our customers a tool, an interface, so that they can control their business without an access to our Amazon account, but also without the problems to have an
Wow.
Amazon account.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was the
That's
story
amazing.
of
Yeah,
SpaceGoat.
thank you for that. I love also the part that you also come from like an engineering background like me. I was an aerospace engineer, so I get your journey as well. I also
Yeah,
went from being a worker to having my own business, and usually that transition is kind of tricky, specifically when you come from engineering background that you're used to working for the man, right, and having your own business. So it's amazing to know that you also had that journey. Now I love as well the fact that you mentioned how you pivoted and you actually created this Space Gods solution, specifically because what you mentioned is very true. I mean, a lot of people in selling on Amazon, they want to sell on Amazon, but they don't want to go through the hustle of the complexity of having
yeah,
to manage everything that comes with running a business on Amazon. That's why we also have clients that come to us, because it's difficult to stay on top of your PPC, your listing, your images, your reporting, inventory, I mean, legal
compliance.
stuff. Yeah, so many things, so many things.
Yeah.
And I feel the solution that you try to them to actually give an opportunity to these products that otherwise they will never make it to Amazon. That's amazing.
Yes.
Now, let's start first with introducing what you guys specialize on, and then we're gonna go
Mhm.
from there, which is basically selling on Amazon Europe. I mean, we're not
Yes.
selling on Amazon Europe. That includes so many other countries. I mean, we're talking France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Poland, Sweden, Belgium. We have UK, which is, I mean, it's considered in Europe, but now after Brexit, it's not really anymore part of the pan-European, but it's within Europe still. But however, let's talk about what is the first thing somebody needs to do when they want to jump into Amazon Europe? Because I mean, when you mention all these countries to them, anybody will get scared and they will not know what to do. So when, let's make a simple example, which,
Yep.
let's say you're a brand that you're not selling within Europe and you want to jump into Europe, what is usually the first thing you would advise to anybody to do when you
US
get it?
US to Europe, you mean?
Yeah, as an
Okay.
example in this
Yeah.
case. Yeah.
Okay, from US to Europe. So in the USA, people are very afraid of the liability for product
Mm-hmm.
compliance claims. If something happens, you
Yeah.
have this I don't know how you call it, this multiple claims where like people are
Anybody can
gathering.
sue you for anything. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. That's the point. But you can start, and as soon as something happens, then you have a problem. But you can
Yeah.
start, and that's not the case in Europe at all. So in
Mm,
Europe, basically, you have to be sure up front. And I
mm,
would say, getting the marketing in place, the translations, it's manageable. It's not easy or something, but
mhm.
it's manageable. But what is especially difficult for non-European companies is the European mindset about everything what is related to compliance,
Yeah.
especially product compliance, VAT compliance, and so on and so forth. So I would always recommend compliance first, because it's not like in the USA that you can just start selling, and when you reach some threshold, you can
Mm.
just get your VAT
Figure it out.
numbers.
Yeah.
Then you figure out later. You need to have, for example, the VAT numbers up front before
Yeah.
you can even start selling. So I would focus on product compliance. You need to have your product correctly labeled.
Yeah.
That's it sounds
Yeah.
simple. It sounds simple, but it's not as simple as it sounds. So for a non-European company, and that's I think one of the biggest obstacles for non-European companies selling on Europe is the
Mm-hmm.
responsible person's address on the product. What do I mean with this? Same issues. UK companies have the same issues basically. Every product what is sold in the European Union needs to have a liable company sitting in the European Union on the product. I'm
Yeah.
saying on the product because 90% of our customers think it needs to be on the packaging. If they know
Yeah.
that law, they think it's on the packaging, but it's on the product. It must be on the product if it's possible. And now comes the clue. I know it is
Mm.
nerdy details, but just that you get a rough idea what I'm talking about. It must be on the product. But if it's not possible, you can put it on the packaging. If you can just put it on the packaging, it's okay. But if some competitor proves that it's possible to have it on the product, then you are not compliant anymore. For example,
Mm.
you have like examples like this. So the first obstacle is to find some company, some partner, which allows you to put his address on the product or on the product packaging. That's what
Basically represent you in Europe. Yeah.
basically represents your product in Europe. And if some issue comes up, then this company is basically the first,
Live. Yeah.
yeah, in the first place liable for the product. So that is the first thing. The second thing is make sure that you have all the certifications, all the labelings, or everything in place what is required for this kind of product. For example, you have like 25 different categories for the CE label. It's actually French. It's something like conformity of Europe or something like that. It's like the CE
Yeah.
label.
Yeah.
It has a shape, which it has a size, a shape, a color, and so on and so forth. What needs to be on the product again, or if it's not possible on the packaging. So that's something you need to take care of. Another thing, you need to take care of if you are selling products on in poly bags, you need hazard warnings. If you're selling, I don't know, organic products, you need to register yourself and some organic
Mm.
entity to have this thing in place. So the first thing is check the product compliance. What kind of certifications you need? How must the product look like? Which kind of warnings do you need on the product? Do I need to translate? Because now we are talking about Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and for the American listeners here, I would love to have Europe as the United Nations of Europe, but it's not the case. There are
Yeah.
different countries, different cultures, and different languages as well. So, for example, the hazard warnings, they need to be in the languages of the marketplaces you are selling the products to. Plus, and that's also something not super intuitive, also to the countries you are sending the products to, also in the language of the country. So
Mm.
if you allow the export from Germany, for example, to Hungary, to, I don't know, Czech Republic, then you need to have this
Those
warning
languages as well. Yeah.
as well. They don't need to be on the packaging. They can also be in some paper work inside the packaging or something like that. But that's also a big thing. So
Yeah.
product compliance, and we could talk hours
Super
about.
important. I know. Product compliance is always the number one fear when jumping to Europe. I think On top of that as well, which I bet you also agree with this, is that on top of product compliance, a very important thing everybody should do when jumping to Europe is first validate if your product will make sense in the European market, because I see that
That's for
mistake
sure.
a lot, which we had clients that they have a bestseller product on a category in the USA, and just for that they assume that product is also going to be a bestseller in Europe. But when they launch it, they realize that's not the case, right? So and this comes down to the point you were mentioning. I mean, you are attacking different culture, different behavior, different type
Yeah.
of ways of using the product, etc.
Different
And if
plugs, for
yeah,
example. So your point
yeah.
made.
So if you don't analyze that in the first place, I mean, you can end up making the mistake of sending thousands of products to a country that then there isn't really a demand for that. So just to
Sure.
conclude on this point, what usually advise as a point in terms of validation? Is there a proceeding place you guys do also on SpaceGoats when it comes to making sure a product will work or not on specific countries? Yeah,
Yeah, we do it as well as a service. What just one thing to round it up, what I said before, why this
sure.
compliance thing is so important. Just that the people understand the background. The European Union released the so-called Digital Markets and Digital Service Act. Super
Okay.
official thing. This act takes the marketplace, in this case Amazon, into accountability for the products. It means
Mm-hmm.
if you're selling not compliant products on the Amazon marketplace, Amazon is liable for the products and they will get the problem. That's why Amazon is right now behind this product compliance things. And as soon as something, a detail, whatever, comes up, Amazon needs to block your product. And that's why it's so important to have it.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
Okay.
super important to have it properly, and that's why Amazon is totally behind it.
Suspending listings so easily in Europe, because if something
Yes,
happens, Amazon is responsible. Okay.
that's the background of this. Why I'm saying product compliance, blah blah. And people think, yeah, but who will know? Who will find
Yeah.
it out? Your competitors will find it out. 100%. If you have some size where you get dangerous for your competitors, they will order your products, see
Yeah,
what's wrong with
there are
them.
even services with that, which is what
They're
we call black hat services. They are looking for weaknesses to report you, to block you. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's why, just to round it up, that's why product compliance is so super important. So now
Yeah.
about the potential analysis, or if the product has a market fit. We just I give an example. The German government, for example, they have mm, financial support programs for different energy things here
Yeah.
in
Hmm.
Germany. Okay, so one product, what we are, I don't want to say the product directly
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's for
Keep it
one of our
generic.
customers.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's in this energy saving
Okay.
area, and
Hmm.
and it's a product more than 1,000 euros per piece, and it's only running in Germany. And most likely because the German government is supporting this with, I
I
don't know,
see.
30 to 50%. So that's just one of the examples. But
Okay.
how do we proceed here? So first we go for a financial analysis. So we check the margins on the different marketplaces, because you have different margins on different marketplaces. You have different VAT rates. It's not like in the States where all is net, because if you see a price on a European marketplace, you see always the gross price, and and what you get net out of it. It depends on the country you're selling the product in
Yeah,
and to, and from which country to which country, and that changes
I
the
know.
net
I
payout.
always
That's the
hate
first.
that about USA, by the way. You think it's a price and then you go to check out, it's like $100
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And here is like, it's
Yeah.
basically up front. So that's one thing. Then another thing is you have different shipping rates in different countries. So what we are doing, we check the product first
Hmm.
for all the financial KPIs, for the margin, for the potential returns. That's also important. For example, the Germans are returning a lot because they're super
Hmm.
critical
I
customers.
know, I know.
Italians are the happy guys, which
They just
always.
give you 4 stars. It's very difficult to give you 5 stars sometimes. I know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
And in Italy, I know I was used to sell a product which was not really good quality. In
Yeah.
Germany, it was like destroyed. It was destroyed. 2.5, 3 stars. Italy, 5 for 5. That I always
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
So that's also some cultural difference. So we check if the financials are okay. In the next part, we take the common tools, Helium 10,
Hmm.
Celix, whatever, to see um, to check the competitor products in this niche and see which which competitor we can beat with our price, with our content, with our marketing quality, with our PPC, with our whatever. So we check multiple competitors and see where we can line us in. Okay, so that's and like that we do it for every country. Like that we see how many sales you can potentially generate on this product, and there we can see sometimes that in one example, we love cars. In Germany, we love cars. You might know. And that's one of our former customers. He was selling like garage protection for the door. Okay.
Okay.
Super crazy running product in Germany. Italians, French people, they do not care at all about their cars. So
take my Fiat. Take my Fiat. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how things are different in the different countries. So in Germany, it was a super running product, while in Spain, Italy, and France, it was like nothing. And there are like a couple of niches like that. So to sum it up, we check the potential sales for each marketplace, and after that we make an ROI calculation. So we see when we get our investment back, how much cash we would need on the way, because most of the sellers, they have cash problems, and that's why they are not calculating their cash need properly. So they don't do a real PLN. And there's one secret behind it: the more revenue you make, the more cash you need to sustain this revenue. And then we can actually go into the consulting part, and then you guys should definitely think about optimization of this process. So every % more of the margin would improve that. Every single day you save for the shipping time. For example, instead of sourcing in China, you can directly source in Europe. You save, I don't know, six weeks. It would improve it a lot. So sometimes it's better to sell less with a higher margin and a lower shipping time because it's made in Europe than just getting the stuff from China with a bit of better margin. So that's something what you really, everybody should have in their own calculation. Everybody should know their numbers, and I see it, especially in the FBA scene, that most of them, I'm taking myself as an example. I'm in mechanical energy. Oh my God, I do a lot of revenue. Okay, let's source another product. Oh my God, I'm out of stock. I don't have cash anymore.
I know. It happened to me.
Yeah, it happened to me so many times, and because I didn't have my my numbers in place. So that's the final thing I would say to judge if a project is reasonable or is it not. And if you see that the KPIs they will tell you the truth, that it's not worth it, then either not go for a product, then go for a product with a way too low margin or too low turnover or whatever. So that's
very good advice
to round it up.
Now, let's start also bringing to the table your company, SpaceGoats. And the reason why I want to do this is because I bet a lot of people now is hearing all this and they say, okay, I understand why you're talking about compliance. I'm making sure I validate the product, translate my pros, localization, all of that. But maybe some people don't have the time or really the knowledge to do it. And that's why they will, seek for a solution like SpaceGoats. So I would like to start with, what would you say is one of the main benefits of using you guys when expanding to Europe, and why should somebody should use like SpaceGoats rather than trying to do it themselves with their own account and all that?
Yeah, time to market, number one. The time to market. What I mean with time to market, if you are selling on Amazon Europe, you have multiple countries with multiple warehouses, and if you do the pan-European program, you would need to have a VAT number in every country you want to store your products in. Upfront, it means in Spain you're waiting, I don't know, 4 to 6 months for your.
We don't make any money.
Yeah, exactly. So the time to market with SpaceGoats, you just need one VAT number. We will import the products in our name. We can give you our address to put on the labeling, so this responsible person's address is basically not required for you anymore. And so time to market. So the benefits: time to market and product compliance support. So we have the legislations here in-house. We know the legislations in-house. We have a product compliance team which know the rules, and we can tell you how needs the packaging to be labeled, what kind of hazard warnings do we need to have. We can check it we can check everything for you so that the product in the end is compliant. Why we are doing it? As we are the seller and as we provide you our address, we are more than into compliance because we are the company which will be liable for it.
If
Okay.
something happens, it's gonna come to you, not to them.
First, yeah, exactly, and we don't want problems with the local entities here, and that's why when we say it's compliant, and it's probably compliant, and if it's compliant, Amazon will probably not ban your product or block your product for a certain time, so you will not lose the revenue. So time to market. You don't need VAT numbers and tax consultants in all the different
Mhm.
countries. You will have strategic support about everything what is related not only to product compliance, also to tax compliance, to import logistics process, and so on and so forth. And you can directly sell in all over Europe from day one, basically.
Wow.
And plus, using our software to see your
Yeah, I
sales.
wanted to mention that it's not all about you guys helping selling the product. You also offer software solution, right, with this
Yes,
program.
exactly. We have a software solution. Of course, we cannot give you access to our Amazon account. So we
Yeah.
built some software which displays you everything you would see on Amazon, but in a bit
Mm.
of better way. I just give you an example. Amazon does not want you to see your PPC performance
Yeah,
properly. They don't want you. You need to click
they
through
want you
all
to
of this.
keep it vague.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just spend money. Just spend
Yeah,
money. For Amazon, it's double when they make more revenue if you spend more. Plus, they make more
I
PPC
know.
revenue, and so we aggregate, for example, the data of over the product. So you have the KPIs in place. If something goes wrong with the product, if it's blocked, we have a premium support where we're paying, I don't know, $5,000 or so per month to Amazon, which are helping us with claims with
To
blocked
get it
products.
activated again. Yeah.
Yes, with any issue. So you don't need to do your end customer. You don't need to do your account management. If something goes wrong, we will take care of this. Plus, what I already said, started to say end customer support. Of course, we have German, we have French, we have Spanish, we have Italian, we have Dutch, we have Swedish, we have Polish, and
Wow.
Belgium is like French, Dutch. So we would take care of the customer support. You don't need to log in every 24 hours to answer your questions, and so on and so forth. And additionally to that, if you want to expand, for example, to Shopify, if you want to build up your own Shopify store, we could also do it and use the same infrastructure for it. So basically, you give us the products, we import it for you, and then we can sell it either on Amazon or on Shopify and fulfill them all from the same place, either from Amazon warehouse or through our FBM, pre-FBA, whatever logistics.
Good.
So there are multiple
Love
solutions
it.
what we can do. And one thing what is super important to understand, it's a modular
Yeah.
solution. It does not need to be full service. So if you say you're good in marketing, or if you're working already with Vincenzo, which is doing your
Yeah.
marketing for, I don't know, USA, he can still do it in our system. So our basic services, we sell your product through our account and take away all this VAT and compliance headaches. That's what you always do. And the marketing part, if you're good in content, do your content. If you're good in PPC, do your PPC. If
Mhm.
you're doing good in whatever, do it yourself and just pick whatever you
A
need
hybrid
and what
approach, basically. Yeah. You
basic. Yeah,
combine it.
or exactly, or you say like, just take my product and sell it
I don't
for
want to
you.
do anything else. You take care of it.
Exactly, that's also possible. So that's a service, selling as a service solution. But if you want to sell it through your own account, it's also not a problem for us. We can still provide like one-time services for your product compliance. So, you
Very
tell us,
nice.
hey, I have my account, I have the 18 numbers, I have everything in place, all good. But please, I don't know the legislations and so on.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me what I have to do, and we will tell you that, and it's like a one-time thing.
Very
So
nice.
that's what we do. We can do potential analysis also as a one-time product. We can do compliance analysis, and we can do the selling part for you.
Very good. Nice. And now, when it comes to, so we can start conclude today's episode. How is somebody, if they want to start working with you, will it work? Will it start with like a vetting process where you guys first validate the product through your team, and then that will start the whole onboarding? How does it work? And usually, how long does it take from making a call with you for the first time
Mhm.
and get it running. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends how many calls we have, but
Yeah.
normally between and how many products, of course, and what else you need. But between 2 and 4 weeks, I would say. We have a landing page for it, so you can basically give us your, for example, American ASINs, and you can pick the countries we should analyze for you, and then we can quote
Okay.
you. And after the quote, it's normally 2 to 3 weeks till it's finalized.
Very good. Yeah. So yeah, Anton, I think you guys definitely offer an amazing solution. So I mean, I want to thank you for being here, giving us some tips and advice around how to sell in Amazon Europe. And I think for sure everybody that's listening this and they wanna, just click a couple of buttons and then Anton take care of the all the hard work. I think for sure SpaceGoats is a good solution for that. So thank you. And just to conclude, you wanna mention like your contact information, email, or something where people can reach out if they have any questions? Yeah.
Yes, you can write me directly, Anton at spacegoats.io. That's my personal email. You can just go on our website, spacegoats.io, and check out what we offer in
Mm-hmm.
general, or at me on LinkedIn, at our company on LinkedIn. We can also chat on LinkedIn. That's what we did with
Yeah.
Vincenzo today. We're just chatting on LinkedIn. And as I said, you can just bring your own agency like Vincenzo to us. We can find a way to work together, and I'm pretty sure that's a good guy. Which you
Yeah.
also have to talk about your own plans, because he is here in Europe, and he comes at least from Europe. And as I'm not mistaken, you're also focused on the marketing part of for Europe,
Yeah,
right?
we basically help with everything that has to do with selling on Amazon, all the marketplaces,
All
so
the
marketing,
marketplace.
listings, strategy, everything. Yeah.
Perfect. And if you insert the e-commerce lab or the e-commerce lab coupon code, you will get a nice discount from us.
Awesome. Thank you
Doing
for
well.
that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man. So thank you for being here. I'm sure we're gonna make more episodes in the future as you guys keep growing and providing so much value to the community. And until the next one, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. Everybody have a good start into the new year, and see you soon and talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.